We've tested 4 different types of LED silent disco headphones, all the way from the cheapest models right up to the premium headsets. In this video, we're going to be covering sound quality, comfort, build, and ease of use. Let's see how they stack up. So first up, we've got the cheapest of the headphones. These were the cheapest ones that we could find, and just picking them up, you can tell they're pretty cheap. Very, very lightweight, all plastic design as well. Usually these parts are metal, which obviously make them a little bit more durable. Well, to be fair, oh, hang on. we've snapped the cable already. So yeah, not the most durable headphone for sure. Let's have a look at some of the other features that it does have. So if we're looking at the controls, we have got the power button, which looks like it's just a hold down button, which is pretty standard. The volume dial, very interesting. So rather than actually being a proper dial where you can actually tune it into the exact volume you want, it kind of works like a toggle switch that resets back to the default position in the middle. And then we've also got an auxiliary in, so we can use these as traditional headphones as well. And it's also got a USB-C charging port as well, which is really great to see. If your headphones were to die in the night, most people have USB-C chargers these days, so you'll be able to give it a little bit more juice if it's needed. In terms of comfort, I mean, they're so lightweight you hardly feel them on your head, so that's a good thing. You've also got cushioning at the top of the headphone, as well as obviously on the ear pads as well. The ear pad design's not great, to be honest. Usually you would want an earphone design that encapsulates the whole ear. This is going to drown out any outside noise that you may hear, people singing along to the silent disco or anything like that. In terms of pressure on the ears, they're not too bad. They just sit on top, which is pretty good. So one really cool feature about these headphones is, even though the LED lights look very, very dim, once you actually start playing music through the headphones, they do light up quite rapidly. My only gripe with this is they don't stick to the same color. So you have the blue color, but then a red or pink light will be displayed flashing inside. Personally, I like it all to stay one color, but that's just my preference. To switch through the channels, we just need to press the on and off switch to cycle through. These headphones support up to 3 channels, which is great to see. That is pretty much the industry standard. So in terms of ease of use, these are actually pretty simple. Now, would I use these for a silent disco event? No. And a few reasons why. In terms of sound quality, these are not the best I've heard, but I didn't expect much from the budget option, to be honest. In terms of low ends, they are non-existent. High ends are super high for some reason. And in terms of the outside noise in the room, it was bleeding through into the headphones, which is not great if you're trying to get lost in the music or if you're planning a silent disco in a loud environment. With these headphones though, it's not all bad news. These would be perfect for kids' parties, just because of the size they get down to. These are probably the smallest headphones I've ever come across. Perfect for little kids' heads, and obviously with the added volume dial on the side, it does mean that you will be able to turn down each individual volume on the headphones to protect your children's ears. If you're planning a big silent disco event with an adult crowd, these would not be my go-to, just due to the build quality. We know how drunk adults can be and how things can break like this. Very, very flimsy. So how would I score these? Audio quality, I would give it 2 out of 5 stars. Build quality, I would have to give it 1 star. And for comfort and usability, I would give it 3 stars. Next up, we've got the mid-range option. Now, on first feel, these feel a lot better than the cheaper pair that we just looked at. Comfort-wise, you've got lovely soft padding at the top of the headband, as well as the ear pads. And if we actually look at the ear pads, you'll see that they encapsulate the whole ear, which is something the previous model didn't do. This is great for comfort, by the way. As with the last model, they are fully adjustable, which means they'll fit on the biggest and the smallest heads, which is great. If we take a look at the controls, we can see we've got a power button to turn the headphones on and off. And then again with the volume dial, similar to the cheaper option that we looked at, it's one of these fidgety toggle switches to turn them up and down. We've got an auxiliary input as well, which means that we can use these as traditional headphones. And again, we've got a USB-C charging port. On the other headphone, not really much to look at. All the controls have been put onto the right headphone, which is actually great. So with these headphones, the biggest con for me is one, the volume flick switch. I really don't like this design. It's really difficult to use and you can't dial in the exact volume that you need. And probably the biggest con of all is the sound quality. The lows, I've got to admit, are much better than the cheaper option, and the highs are just at the right level compared to the cheaper option. As for the volume though, they just don't get there. They're just not loud enough. When you're doing big silent disco events, you need to make sure that you definitely got the volume for that, especially if you've got lots of people surrounding you, making a lot of noise. You want to be able to drown that noise out with the music that you're listening to. So for the audio quality rating, I would have to give these 2 stars out of 5. The build quality, I've got to admit, is much better than the previous model, so we'll give that 2 out of 5 stars. Comfort and usability, much better than the previous model, so we'll give these 3 out of 5 stars. Now we're really stepping up in quality. This is the higher mid-range option, which is the standard headphone. Now this is pretty much the industry standard for most silent disco businesses, including ourselves. These were the first headphones that we ever purchased, and for one good reason: durability. The build quality is a lot better, the plastics are a lot harder. One of the first tests we did with this headphone when we got it was to throw it out of my 2-story house, and it survived. In terms of audio quality, it's a massive improvement over the other 2 headphones. The bass is punchy, the mids are clear, and while they don't fully surround the ears like the second pair did, they do block out a lot of the external noise. The controls are as they should be: chunky, physical switches for power, channel, and volume. They're super intuitive and make things easy for the user, even at night or when you're managing a large crowd. Comfort, they are really good. Maybe not as plush as the enclosed pair that we looked at, but for most people, they strike a great balance between fit and performance. Right, for the ratings. For the audio quality, I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. The build quality, it has to be 5 stars. And comfort and usability, I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. And now for the final headphone, the most premium option out there, which is the advanced headphone. Now, we recently started stocking these. When we first got our hands on these, we were absolutely blown away. And we're going to show you some of the features and why they stand out from the other 3. Unlike the first 2 headphones, the power button is on the left headphone and the channel button is on the right headphone, meaning for the user, it's easy to distinguish which button they're pressing. Just like the standard headphones, we have a volume dial to get the volume exactly where we want it to be. We have an auxiliary input at the bottom, so we can use these like traditional headphones. And we got a USB-C charging port on these headphones, which is a massive upgrade compared to the standard headphones. The ear pads themselves are absolutely fantastic, super thick with foam, and they encapsulate the whole ear. When you put these headphones on without any music playing, you can barely hear anything in the outside world. Sound quality, these are easily the best. The bass response is powerful without being muddy, and the highs are clear and detailed. Not to mention, these headphones get super loud, perfect for outdoor events, festivals, or even fitness classes. With the music playing and you trying to talk, you will not be able to hear your own voice. You also get multiple lighting modes, which you can access by holding the light button, a small feature that adds a bit of wow factor to your event. Build-wise, these are absolutely superb. From as soon as you pick them up, you can feel the weight of them, just gives them that premium feel. Not to mention the headband, super stretchy, and they fold away too, just like the standard headphones. If you're looking for a professional headphone that's reliable, these would definitely be my choice. So my ratings for these headphones. For audio quality, I've got to give it 5 out of 5 stars. The bass response was fantastic and they went super loud. For build quality, it's got to be 5 stars. For comfort and usability, I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. So which headphone is right for my event? Well, it all depends on the audience really. If it's a kids party, I would definitely go with the first option or maybe the second option. Or if you want something a bit better, maybe even the third option, the standard headphones. For all other events, I would definitely go with either the standard headphones, or if you're looking for something really premium, then the advanced headphones. For general parties and corporate events, I would definitely go with option 3. And if you're looking for the best silent disco experience on the market, I would definitely go with option 4. And there we have it. That is my review for the top 4 LED silent disco headphones on the market. Now, if you're planning a silent disco event and need help picking out headphones, feel free to get in contact with us on our website, thesilentdiscoguys.co.uk. Thanks for watching.